Call this meeting to order. I'm Matthew Pianka, I'm the chairman of the board of the zoning hearing board. I have Mr. Claude Phipps with me and Ms. Bianca with me as well. We have the sitting board members. Mr. Hobbs, our alternate, will not make it tonight. Also have with us from the city's law bureau, Mr. Grover.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Jacob. Jacob, why am I blanking on your last name, Jacob? Got Jacob from planning with us. It'll come to me. Mr. Bowen. Mr. Bowen. There is a court reporter present with us. The court reporter is here because the zoning hearing board is more formal than the planning commission. Court reporter is making a transcript in the event of an appeal to the Court of Common Pleas. The zoning hearing board is like a court of law. The zoning hearing board decision must be based on facts and law, not on the popularity or unpopularity of the project or what seems to the board to be a good or bad project. In other words, the applicant must meet a legal burden of proof that proves the element of a variance or special exception. The law is the city's zoning code and the Pennsylvania Municipalities Planning Code. To any audience members, and anyone who resides or owns property close to the subject property and has something legally relevant to say will have an opportunity to speak. Audience members that must speak one at a time, and they must not interrupt the testimony, and that their testimony will be transcribed by the court reporter. We have any cases to continue tonight? I didn't see anything. No, we're going to move on. Okay. And I'm going to call in the first case, which is from our old business, 2523. This is a variance application for 709 North 2nd Street. The applicant here. Start with the solicitor. Please read in the record the documents that are in the city's file.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have marked the following exhibits. Exhibit B1 is the proof of publication. The time and place and the nature of this application was published in the Patriot News on July 3rd and July 10th, 2022. That's Exhibit B1. Exhibit B2 is a letter dated August 5th, 2022, sent from the Deputy Planning Director, Jacob Bowen, to the applicant, notifying the applicant of the time and place of the hearing. Court Exhibit number 3 is the hearing notice, which was posted upon the property in question on June 29th, 2022. Court Exhibit number 4 is the applicant's notification letter and certificate of mailing to the required neighbors. Court Exhibit number 5 is the application for relief by the applicant. Court Exhibit number 6 are 2 photographs of the property in question. That exhibit is a 2-page exhibit. Court Exhibit number 7 are the plans for the 2-unit multifamily dwelling unit. And this is a 1-page plan. Court Exhibit number 8 is the deed dated July 30th, 2021, giving title into the applicant, providing for him to have standing in this matter. Court Exhibit number 9 is the Planning Bureau case report. Court Exhibit number 10 is the City of Harrisburg Planning Commission resolution. And Board Exhibit A1, applicant 1, is the email from the applicant dated July 11th, 2022, requesting a continuance from last month's meeting to this month's meeting, this August 15, 2022 meeting. So my exhibits, Mr. Chairman, are Boards Exhibit B1 through B10 and Exhibit A1.
All right, thank you. Now swear in the zoning administrator. Jacob, if you could raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Could you please briefly summarize the case and the issues and what the city's position is on the case?
So the applicant is proposing to establish a 2-unit multifamily dwelling use on site, which this requires a variance for exceeding the allowable density area for the property. So this property is actually zoned commercial neighborhood, which permits multifamily use. So the request is actually for exceeding that 1,200 square foot lot area per unit. So this will be actually exceeding that by 336 square feet. So the applicant is taking a restaurant space that was permitted by right in the CN district and converting it into an apartment space, which previously this property, it was an apartment before it was a restaurant. So they're actually converting it back to that previous use. So at the Planning Commission meeting, they recommended that this request be approved with the following conditions. Condition 1, any exterior alterations to the building will receive approval from the historic preservation specialist, or if necessary, receive harbor approval of a certificate of appropriateness. So it looks like the applicant just painted the place. I don't think they're doing any more work outside, if that's correct. And then condition 2, the Codes Bureau will perform a thorough inspection of the interior of the building to ascertain whether the work which established the additional unit is done in compliance with building code regulations. If they do not, the applicant will submit the necessary building permits to have the entire structure brought into compliance. Condition 3, the applicant will coordinate with Department of Public Works to ensure that the account billing reflects the establishment of the proposed use on site. The Planning Commission recommended this request be approved for the following reasons. Reason 1, the property has a confirmed history of existing as a registered and inspected 2-unit multifamily dwelling for numerous years. If approved, the project would reestablish a formal legal non-conforming use within a structure that is configured to accommodate multiple units. Reason 2, the proposed multifamily use would have a lesser equal impact to the surrounding community compared to a restaurant or other by right commercial uses that may be established on site.
All right, thank you. Could the applicant please state your name, your residential address, and your business title, if relevant?
Thanks for hearing my case. My name is John Stas. You said my residential address?
Yeah, and could you get his last name?
My residential
Yes,
address? My residential address is 706 Ohio Avenue in Lemoyne. I also have a business address at 1738 3rd Street, Harrisburg.
If you could please raise your right hand, I'm going to swear you in for this. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
And then just go ahead and tell us about this project and what your plans are.
So for approximately 20 years, I've owned a building at 707 2nd Street, which is next door. So probably about 7 or 8 years ago, the building next door, the subject property at 709 2nd Street was sold. And the owner had a project of making a restaurant on the first floor, which they did. And after maybe a year or 2, year and a half, the restaurant went out of business and the property went into some state of being vacant and subsequently went back up for sale. When I initially looked at the property, it was there's full restaurant equipment. At some point while it was for sale, the owner took the equipment out and sold the restaurant equipment. So when I first purchased the building, I had it, I was saying, hey, it's a restaurant, and trying to rent it as a restaurant. And lots of people looked at it and just nobody wanted to rent it as a restaurant because they said it wasn't a good location, which that's consistent with the restaurant that was there went out of business. And so I thought, hey, it would be really easy to turn this into apartment and be better use as far as parking. A lot of people said, hey, the parking is just a problem in the location, why it wouldn't be a good restaurant. So after trying to rent it as a restaurant, I decided, hey, I'll just try to apply to get it changed back to a residential apartment. And there's, as Jason said, I painted the front, but there's really not, I don't have to move any walls, or there's no substantial construction because it was an apartment before. So the kitchen's going to be where the kitchen is. The bathroom's going to be where the bathroom is. There's no major construction to change the usage. And I feel that it would be a lot less of a parking burden since parking is really valuable in that area and there's not enough parking. This will ease the parking situation. So I think all in all, it'd be better use to convert it back to an apartment.
Start with Ms. Bianca. Questions?
No questions. Good to see you.
Good to see you again.
Good evening. Hi.
Good evening.
This is one of the conditions that you will contact the historical preservation. Did you get sign off on that? You haven't done that?
Was historical preservation. I didn't yet.
But you're going to pursue that.
That's a requirement. So yes.
Yeah, and there's a chance that there's a pretty high likelihood they won't even have to get historical approval. I mean, I don't see much work because painting's not a requirement, it's not a masonry structure. So it's unlikely that they'll actually have to go before before HARB, excuse me.
The apartments, 2 apartments, same size.
The apartment, the existing apartment that was on the 2nd and 3rd floor, that's a bigger size. When they made it into a restaurant, I believe they did knock out a lot of walls. So it's sort of like a shotgun apartment straight through. I'm just going to keep it like that. Like you come in the front door, you can see straight. Bathroom is the only separate room.
So these are 1-bedroom apartments. The first floor, 1 bedroom or studio type of
Yeah,
setting.
studio
And
type
then
setup.
2nd floor and 3-story building, right? Yes.
Correct. Yeah, the 2nd and 3rd floor. That's basically 2 bedrooms. Could be used as a
Closet or bedroom.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Do you agree with the facts and the issues that were stated by the zoning administrator earlier on?
The conditions.
Yeah, the conditions that were set
Yeah,
forth.
I agree with the conditions.
Is there anyone from the neighborhood here to speak? Anyone?
Make a motion, we approve.
You need to state it like.
Want me to? I make a motion to approve with the conditions set forth by the planning commission resolution for approval.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Stas, real quick, for purposes of the decision, is the 1738 North 3rd Street, Suite A, a good mailing address?
That's a good mailing address.
Okay.
Chris.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thanks, Julie.
All right, and I will call 2528, the special exception for 2604 North 5th Street. Childcare. Ms. Patricia Walker. The solicitor, please read to the record the documents.
Sure, Mr. Chairman, I have marked as exhibit B1, a proof of publication. The time and place and the nature of this application was published in the Patriot News, which is a newspaper of general circulation for Harrisburg. It was published on July 31st and August 7th of 2022. Exhibit B2 is a letter dated August 5th, 2022, sent from Deputy Planning Director Jacob Bowen to the applicant, notifying the applicant of the time and place of the hearing. Board Exhibit number 3 is the hearing notice posted upon the property in question, which occurred on July 27, 2022. Board Exhibit number 4 is the applicant's notification letter and certificate of mailing to the required neighbors. Board Exhibit number 5 is the application for a special exception by the applicant. Board Exhibit number 6, B6, is 11 photographs of the interior and the exterior of the property. This is comprised of 11 pages. Board Exhibit number 7 is the deed dated December 17th, 2014. Board Exhibit number 8 is the Planning Bureau case report, and Board Exhibit number 9 is the City of Harrisburg Planning Commission resolution. So we have, Mr. Chairman, exhibits B1 through B9 for this matter.
Thank you. Solicitor, I'd just like to make a note that the zoning administrator is still sworn in from the last case. Jacob, if you could please summarize the case and the issues and what the city's position is.
Sure thing. So the applicant is proposing to establish a child care home group as an accessory use in the residential medium density district. So this requires the approval of a special exception for this use. So the applicant has a long established child care home use, which permits up to 6 children. So they're proposing to expand their license, which would allow for up to 12. And in conversation with the applicant during their inspection with the state, based on the square footage of the property, I believe that they're limited to 10 children actually. So this expansion will actually be going just to 10 children as well. So at the Planning Commission meeting, the Planning Commission recommended approval with the following conditions. Condition 1, the proposed child care center must comply with all aspects of the specific criteria of section 7-309.20 of the zoning code. Condition 2, the Codes Bureau will perform a thorough inspection of the interior of the building to ascertain whether the property complies with all modern building code regulations. If not, the applicant must submit building permits to have the structure brought into compliance. Planning Commission recommended approval with for the following reasons. Reason 1, the proposal will be compatible with the residential character of the surrounding community by serving as an accessory use within a residential dwelling while limiting the number of children to 12 or less. Reason 2, the applicant has a long history of operating a registered child care home family use on site within full compliance of city regulations and requirements. Reason 3, the proposed use will provide necessary child care services to the residents of the surrounding community. I'd like to also note for condition 2, in regards to the specific criteria, just to make the applicant and the boards aware as well. So part of that requirement will require the Codes Bureau and the Fire Bureau to actually review your application, and that could potentially require residential sprinkler. That will be to the discretion of the fire chief and what their regulations are.
Good evening.
Good evening. You could please state your full name, residential address, and business title if relevant, and then I'll swear you in.
Patricia.
Sit on, Jacob.
Patricia Ann Walker. My residence is 2604 North 5th Street, Harrisburg, and I'm the owner and the teacher.
Now, if you could please raise your right hand. You swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
If you could tell us why you're here tonight.
Okay, I'm here to expand my business. I've been operating as a family childcare for 25 years, and I want to expand it to a group home, which would, the license is up to 12, but the square footage of my house will only allow me to add 4 more children. And with expanding, I would have the opportunity to open up for employment.
Do you agree with the facts that were stated and the conditions that were stated by the zoning administrator?
Yes, I do.
Start with Mr. Phipps.
Ms. Walker,
Good evening.
we have 2 questions. That would do this with all day purposes. Have you polled the neighbors? You currently have a business that has 6 children. That you're serving 6 children.
Yes.
The additional 4 possible. Okay. Have you talked to your neighbors? Have they expressed any concerns?
Yes, I talked with my neighbors. No, they didn't express any concerns.
And what are your operating hours?
7:30 to 5, 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
No questions?
Have you looked into what the Fire Bureau and Codes Bureau has to come and check out for this expanded permit?
No.
I will just note, I was going to note this at the end.
Okay.
The Commonwealth passed a new law at the end of June to an amendment to the Fire and Panic Act for childcare centers, in-home childcare centers in particular, where it's going to give everyone a 12-month window for some updated, interconnected smoke detectors and fire extinguishers, which I'm sure the Fire Bureau will be aware of. But there may have to be an update by next June to comply with that, which is different than the sprinkler requirement. But clearly, they're going to want some kind of proof under this new law about fire detectors that are in every childcare center. It was triggered by that horrible fire in Erie, so that's just letting you know that's coming. So,
Well, currently I do have the interconnection smoke detectors, and I do have the fire extinguishers on every floor.
good.
And I don't have any other questions. Is there anyone here from the public that would like to make a statement? Anybody to the right? Anyone to the middle? Anyone to the left? Hearing none, I'll make a motion to approve with the conditions set forth by the Planning Commission's resolution for approval. Do I have a second?
Yes. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank
Coming.
you. Thank you so much.
That brings us to 2529, a special exception for 2134 North Second Street. The solicitor would please read the record of the documents that are on the city's file.
Mr. Chairman, I have marked as exhibits B1, Board Exhibit Number 1, the proof of publication. The time and place and the nature of this application was published in the Patriot News, newspaper of general circulation for the city of Harrisburg on July 31st, 2022 and August 7th, 2022. Board Exhibit Number 2 is a letter dated August 5th, 2022 from the Deputy Planning Director Jacob Bowen to the applicant, notifying the applicant of the time and place of the hearing this evening. Board Exhibit Number 3 is the hearing notice, which was posted upon the property, and that occurred on July 27, 2022. Board Exhibit Number 4 is the applicant's notification letter and certificate of mailing to the required neighbors. Board Exhibit Number 5 is the application for 2 special exceptions by the applicant. Board Exhibit Number 6 are 4 pages containing 13 photos of the interior and the exterior of the property in question. Board Exhibit Number 7 are 7 pages of plans for 4-unit multi-family dwelling use for the property. Board Exhibit Number 8 is the deed dated September 22nd, 2022. Giving the applicant standing to be here this evening. Board Exhibit Number 9 is an email of support for the proposal from David, spell his last name, Oechslein, dated July 2nd, 2022. Board Exhibit Number 10 is the Planning Bureau case report. Board Exhibit Number 11 is the City of Harrisburg Planning Commission resolution. So, Mr. Chairman, we have as marked Board Exhibit Number 1 through 11 for this matter.
Thank you. Just a reminder, the zoning administrator is still sworn in. Jacob, if you could briefly summarize the case, the issues, and what the city's position is.
So the applicant is proposing to establish a 4-unit multifamily dwelling use. This property is in the Riverfront zoning district. So this requires a special exception for approval of the proposed use and for relief from the off-street parking requirements. So currently, this property operates as a legally non-conforming fitness center use. It also has one rental inspection for an apartment on site. So they're looking to add 3 units to the building to have 4 units total, which necessitates the relief being requested. So the Planning Commission recommended that this request be approved with the following conditions. Condition 1, the applicant shall allow the Codes Bureau to perform a comprehensive inspection and receive approval for all necessary city permits prior to receiving a certificate of occupancy and leasing any units. Condition 2, the applicant will coordinate with the Department of Public Works to confirm the appropriate size and location of refuse collection on site and update the billing accounts to reflect the new use. The Planning Commission recommends the request be approved for the following reasons. Reason 1, the proposed multifamily dwelling use would have a lesser or equal impact to the surrounding community compared to the existing legally non-conforming fitness center use. That would actually include, in the discussion as well, was the parking requirement. Actually, the existing use requires 40 off-street spaces. So this will be significantly brought down of what the impact would be. And then the second reason, the proposed project will provide an overall benefit to the surrounding community by increasing housing options and further supporting a customer base for nearby local businesses.
Thank you. If the applicant could please state your full name, your residential address, and your business title.
Hi, everybody. My name is Stephen Toole, T as in Tom, OOLE. I reside at 5005 Hellingham Circle in Enola, Pennsylvania. And I own the property.
And tell us about the project. Oh, sorry, I do have to swear. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Great. This property was purchased by other members of my family, my mother and father-in-law, back in the early 80s, and has been run as the Movement Center, yoga studio, dance, exercise studio since then. My mother-in-law decided during the height of the pandemic that she was going to retire. And as we know, in fitness, businesses, fitness center type businesses have not done well since COVID-19 outbreak. So the best and highest use of this property based on my professional knowledge as a real estate investor, as well as those of other, let's say, real estate professionals, specifically, appraisers, would say that the highest and best use of this property would be a multifamily. So to that end, I believe before it was purchased and turned into an exercise studio, it had been run as like a dentistry, like where the dentist lived in the property as well as operated out of the building. And as you can see, it's a beautiful Queen Anne style building that was built to be a residential building. Thank you.
Yeah.
What?
Cool.
Hi.
One question. Currently, the fitness center that's there uses a parking lot that's, I won't say adjacent to the building, but somewhere close by, correct, across the street?
So the way this is set up, if one takes a look at, I forget if this is called the site plan, but you'll see that there is an extremely large parking lot directly adjacent to the building that supports Governor's Plaza buildings 1, 2, and 3. And in addition, there's roughly 400 to 420 linear feet of off-street parking that fronts that parking lot that nobody ever parks in. So those facts would lend that this is, let's say, not a tight parking neighborhood.
I was gonna say, did you get permission from the?
So
lot?
PMI is of which manages this, the Riverfront Plaza, is under, with like, let's say it's a don't ask, don't tell relationship that they've had with my mother-in-law for like over, 25 years. To that end, I believe that they're leasing those buildings. Either, I believe the school district has some space in there, as well as there's like a faith-based operation in one of those. They would like to reserve the right to keep all of their spots pending changes in economic conditions, is what I was told.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Are I was looking at the design, is the units, are some of the units multiple stories?
So Unit A, which is entered off the front porch, has like a living room, dining room, office on the first floor, and 2 bedrooms, 2 baths on the second floor.
Okay.
So that's the one that splits both units. Yeah, both floors, sorry.
Okay. I'm going to make it a motion to approve. Oh, the audience. Anybody from the audience? No? I'm going to make a motion to approve with the conditions set forth by the Planning Commission's resolution for approval. Second, all in favor? Aye. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
And thank you, Mr. Bowen. Appreciate it.
It's going to bring up our last docket for the night, number 2530. It's a special exception application for 45 North 13th Street. If the solicitor would please read into record the documents that are in the city's file.
Sure, Mr. Chairman, I have marked as Exhibit B1, the proof of publication. Time and place and the nature of this application was published in the Patriot News and newspaper of general circulation on July 31st and August 7th of 2022. Board Exhibit number 2 is the letter dated August 5th, 2022, sent from Deputy Planning Director Jacob Bowen to the applicant, notifying the applicant of the time and place of the hearing this evening. Board Exhibit number 3 is the hearing notice posted upon the property in question that occurred on July 27, 2022. Board Exhibit number 4 is the applicant's notification letter and certificate of mailing to the required neighbors. Board Exhibit number 5 is the application requesting 2 special exceptions. Board Exhibit number 6 is the applicant's business plan for a coffee shop / cafe, which is 4 pages. Board Exhibit number 7 are 4 pages of 4 photographs of the interior and exterior of the property. Board Exhibit number 8 is the floor plan for the coffee shop / cafe. It's 1 page. Board Exhibit number 9 is a deed dated March 23rd, 2006, granting the property to Lamont Palmer. Board Exhibit number 10 is the lease agreement between Extreme Management LLC to the applicants. As the lessee, dated October 22nd, 2021. Board Exhibit number 11 is the Planning Bureau case report, and Board Exhibit number 12 is the City of Harrisburg Planning Commission resolution. So I have as marked exhibits B1 through B12.
Thank you. As a reminder, again, that the zoning administrator is still sworn in. Jacob, if you could please summarize the case and the issues and what the city's position is.
So the applicant is proposing to establish a coffee shop cafe use in the residential medium density zoning district. So this requires the approval of a special exception for the use and for the off-street parking requirements. So the off-street parking requirement is for actually 9 spaces, which is based on the square footage and the number of employees. So this property has on the side space to really do 2 legal parking spots that aren't going to be parked in that tandem valet style. Potentially they could get more parked there, but legally with our parking requirements of how spaces are supposed to be designed, they could really get 2 in there. So the request is for relief from 7 off-street parking spaces total. So this applicant, as I'm sure you guys remember, was before a few months ago requesting for a convenience store use. So with conversation with the applicants and their legal representation, they submitted a substantially different business plan and application, affording us with a different review, different request. So at the Planning Commission meeting, they recommended that this request be approved with the following conditions. Condition 1, the applicant shall allow the Codes Bureau to perform a comprehensive health inspection and receive approval for all necessary city permits prior to receiving a certificate of occupancy. Condition 2, the applicants will coordinate with the Department of Public Works to ensure the account billing is updated to reflect the new use. Condition 3, the applicant shall coordinate with the property owner to remove all illegally installed barbed wire on site and to remove the vehicular gate along North 13th Street, given there is no legal curb cut or driveway that allows vehicular access across the sidewalk. Condition 4, the applicant shall not sell routine household goods or a significant portion of packaged goods that would otherwise be associated with a convenience store use. The Planning Commission recommended this request be approved for the following reasons. Reason 1, the proposed use is compatible with the surrounding community and would reoccupy a portion of a vacant structure long configured to accommodate commercial uses. Reason 2, the proposal would help reactivate the surrounding streetscape while supporting social opportunities to nearby residents associated with a coffee shop or cafe use.
All right, thank you, Jacob. If the applicants, if you could please state your name, your residential address, and your business title, and then I'll swear you in.
Good evening. First of all, my name is Corey Leschner. I'm the attorney for the applicants, N&M Cafe. My address is 415 Market Street, Suite 204, Harrisburg.
My name is Jeffrey Montgomery Jr. and 3901 Woodville Road, Harrisburg, PA 17109. And I'm the owner of N&M Cafe.
My name is Tyshawn Greenlove, address 79 Simon Court, Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, and I'm also part owner of N&M Cafe.
All raise your right hands. You swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? You all answered in the affirmative. Please tell us a little bit about your project here, and did you find the facts? Did you agree with the facts and the issues as stated by the zoning administrator?
Or just a little bit of background from me, and then I'll turn it over to the applicants. We do agree with everything that the zoning administrator said. As you heard, you know that these 2 applicants were before you for this property before. Ultimately, they went back to the drawing board after being faced with some of the issues that they had and kind of really looked at what they were looking to provide for the community and what they were looking to provide for themselves. And so this plan was an outgrowth of that conversation. And so I think you'll find after talking to them that they really have adopted this new plan. And moving forward, I think that these 2 individuals who currently own a business outside the city really want to be in the city as well and kind of give back to the community that they grew up in. So I'm going to turn it over to them at this point for any further questions from the board.
Okay. Yeah. So like Corey said, you know, we were all before you guys, already in front of you guys before with the convenience store plan, which went back to the drawing board, took a look at it, some of the stuff as far as like all the surrounding stores that's already around it and things like that. We just wanted to really change the avenue in that area for something that's not on every single corner already. And then came up with the coffee shop / caf. So we felt like it would be something nice to have in the area. And also as far as like, you know, there's really no sit down spots in that area for people like might want to just stop, have a little meeting with someone, things like that. So that's how we just went back to the drawing board and came up with the N and M cash. And we also do, for all the things, the approvals that they said we would have to do in order to, we also spoke with the owner on that as far as removing the barbed wire and everything like that. He's, with us to, as far as getting all that approved in order for us to move forward also.
Start off. Good evening, gentlemen. Mr. Greenlove and Ms. Montgomery. I remember you guys from January, and I'm so impressed with your business plan. You paid attention. Okay. A couple questions I did have. I saw you did say you reached out to the neighborhood, the surrounding neighborhood, the Summit Terrace president, and I think your last presentation you had, I won't say petition, but you had documentation that
Yeah.
they were in support of that endeavor. Are they still in support of still supporting the coffee shop?
Yeah, they're still in support.
In your business plan, your financial position, you're basically saying the startup needs about $50,000. Is that, are you funding that yourself, or is it, or that's the bank carrying your loan?
No, that'll be funded ourselves between.
Next question, operating hours.
Operating hours, they will be from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m.
And the last question, roughly how many customers you think you will see in that over an hour's time with the coffee shop?
I would say I'm not really too sure on that result, but I know what is opening up at 7 a.m. should definitely get those, people going into work and stuff, those early comers. Yeah, so
Some of them take out and some will be sit down. And
Yeah.
have a nice cup of tea or coffee with some toast or something similar to what's think of town. Yes.
And that's a great point. I think ultimately what they're trying to bring to the neighborhood is that which exists in other neighborhoods within the city, but doesn't exist within this neighborhood. You can go to the mall, you can go uptown, you can go midtown for a cup of coffee, but on the hill, there really is not a place. To answer your question, as far as customers per hour, it's a tough thing to anticipate at this point, given that this type of business never really existed in this area. It was a daycare previously. And so a lot of the traffic is going to be very much neighborhood based, which is another reason why the parking requirements we feel would be a reasonable accommodation for this site. We don't anticipate too much vehicular traffic. We expect mostly walking traffic. This is very much a business that would be supported by the neighborhood and the surrounding community. As far as the internal composition, you can see there's a rough sketch that was provided to the board. The rough sketch outlines some tables, and as you can see, some pre-prepared food will be provided as well. And so to directly address your question, the number of customers will definitely be busier towards the morning hours, we would anticipate with the coffee. However, with the prepared foods, the concept would be like the R&K subs, that type of a vendor that would come in with already made sandwiches, put them in a refrigerator for people to kind of grab and go, or perhaps eat there at the tables that are provided. And so the anticipation would be another peak at around lunchtime, and then potentially some additional business through the afternoon with closing hours set at 5 p.m.
Thank you. Thank you, Devin.
My questions were just answered. Thank you.
Yes.
I don't have any questions, just really a comment. Glad to see you back. I was looking at a map of the area. You got 2 fire stations, an MDJ office, and Hamilton Health nearby, so let them know you're there. So, is there anybody here from the neighborhood that has something to say? Jacob or Neil? Else? With that, I'm going to make a motion to approve with the conditions set forth by the Planning Commission's resolution for approval. Do I have a second? Seconded. All in favor? Aye. Thank you.
Okay.
I think with that, I'm going to make a motion to adjourn. All right, all in favor? Aye.
Good luck.
Good luck.